We are 2 weeks away from the start of the regular season, and today the Sixers dropped two huge updates on us in regards to Joel Embiid, Paul George, and a few others. And I'll be honest, they might not be exactly what you want to hear, but we'll talk about how much stock we can put in those. Also, Nick Nurse previews the starting lineup with a twist, and we finally get a Quentin Grimes sighting at practice, and you don't want to miss what he had to say about this summer and his return to Philly. All that and more coming up here on Philly Take with RB. But welcome into the show. Now, I want to start it off with our question of the day. I want you to chime in the comments section. If the season started today and you were the coach of this team, what is your ideal starting five? It could be based on strategy. It could be based on health. Whatever it is. What is the best lineup combination for this team? I want your thoughts down below because Nick Nurse says that a three-guard lineup is quote-unquote on the table. They teased a four-guard lineup. Now they're saying three-guard lineup. I'll be honest, we're probably going to see three guards in this lineup. And Kyle Nubik says that it's more and more likely now that Maxey and VJ are going to be starting together regardless of the rest of the team. That's what it's feeling like from Nick Nurse's comments. And I'm thinking about this, and Maxey's definitely starting. If Joel Embiid and Paul George are healthy, let's say they are, they're definitely starting. I think you have to start VJ Edgecombe, right? Your third overall pick who's showing at least a lot of potential in a variety of areas. So who's left? Do you go with Jared McCain when he's healthy? Do you go with Quentin Grimes, right, who's now trying to prove himself? Or do you go with someone like Kelly Oubre? Then I guess Paul George would have to play the four. Don't really want that. If you move Paul George to the three where he usually is, and you play Trendan Watford or you play Jabari Walker or Dominic Barlow, yeah, that kind of helps Embiid, takes a load off of him, at least in terms of rebounding and stuff like that. But also, you're kind of losing a bit on the offensive touch as well. So there's a lot of big decisions here, right? When I'm thinking about a second lineup of Jared McCain and Quentin Grimes, I think that's absolutely lethal. But guys' egos start to come into play, where they're drafted, how much money they're making, their next contract, it all comes into play. And I know a few days ago, people got mad about my Maxey take, right? And about how I think the Sixers still need some more playmaking. It's funny, people don't really listen nowadays. I was saying that if Joel Embiid and Paul George are playing, then yeah, things should be fine. But we're not really confident that they're going to play. And even if they are, the Sixers can't play like one of these up-tempo, speedy, guard-filled teams that they're trying to be because they are strictly dominating in the paint. They are centered around a guy like Joel Embiid who needs the ball in his hands in the post. The Sixers kind of have two different dynamics going on. And that's why this feels like a weird bridge the gap type of year. But in my opinion, I think it's going to be Maxey, Grimes, VJ, Paul George, and Joel Embiid. And I think they will excel in some areas. They'll be a lot quicker. But at the same time, I think they're going to be hurt on the glass, which is where they're hurt every year and they never address it. And when the playoffs come, they're going to need more. So hopefully we see something out of Trendan Watford. Hopefully we see something out of these other guys. Speaking of Trendan Watford, he's back out on the floor after practice today. Here is finally a video of Trendan Watford putting in work, a very big unknown, right? I mean, we want him to be that starting four. Maxey gave him a lot of praise in our interview, but according to the Sixers, he remains out and will not even play on Friday. So Nick Nurse said he would play in Abu Dhabi. Now he's not playing on Friday. Now I'm starting to get a little bit concerned. Like, we need to see Trendan Watford. We need to see those reps. It creates a very interesting dilemma here with the power forward position. But we got to talk about the guy who's back in Quentin Grimes. We have to talk about Joel Embiid and Paul George. My question for you is, do you think Joel Embiid and Paul George will be available on the season opener coming up in just 2 weeks? Give me your thoughts down below. And before we talk about all that, a quick shout out to our sponsor of today's video. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that is taking things to the next level. They are the best one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can chat on games in real time with other users. You can get the latest news, scores, and alerts right at your fingertips. And you can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. With Sleeper's picks, all you have to do is choose choose anywhere from 2 to 8 of your favorite players. This could be pregame, live game, or even across different sports. And then you just pick the over or under, more or less than the predicted stats. That's it. You can make these entries in less than 30 seconds with a $1 minimum entry. And on Sleeper, if your picks win, you can get up to 1,000 times your payout. So right now, download the Sleeper app, use the promo code PhillyTake, and get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And right now, as a special promo, Sleeper is actually offering a free $20 entry with no deposit required. All you have to do is sign up and use the code PhillyTake to claim your free promo. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, so here we go with the latest update from the 76ers. Joel Embiid practiced today and has continued to increase activity. That includes 5-on-5s, but he still needs to check more boxes before he has game availability. Do you hear that? Does anybody hear that? There goes the sirens. They're going off. Warning, alert. I mean, this is a red flag, ladies and gentlemen, if I've ever seen one. What do you mean that we still need to check more boxes before he's game ready? Now, again, I am not forcing Joel to come back. I don't want him to come back if he's injured. I'm looking more at the 76ers here. You said in, April that he'd be out 6 to 8 weeks and he'd be reevaluated. You never gave us any update. Now you're giving us these little teasers about him practicing and looking good, and we're seeing him in little practice footage stints. And now you're saying that we still need to check more boxes before he's game ready. So you went out and got the best surgeon for him, a guy that has a pretty good track record, and we're feeling good, and we're seeing these videos, and the admin's putting them out, and now you're telling us that he still is not game ready. Sixers, please, I am asking you, do not do this to us again. We just want a sliver of hope. We just want to see our stars, our max guys on the floor. We want to see this team play up to its potential, or at least have an opportunity to do that. We have Joel Embiid, who needs to check more boxes before he's game ready. And now we have Paul George, who is still doing individual on-court workouts, working towards getting integrated into the team workouts in the coming days. But ladies and gentlemen, we are 14 days away from the season opener against the Celtics. The 76ers need these guys on the floor. I don't want to start out another season with uncertainty and getting to the first game and not knowing who the lineup is going to be, who's going to be available. People are already frustrated. They just want to see them play games. Simple as that. So Sixers, I am asking very kindly, just please do not do this to us again. And if you are going to do this, can you at least tell us what the boxes are? Can you tell us like, hey, here's step one. We need to make sure he can do this. We need to make sure he can move this way. We need to make sure he's ready to play this many minutes. Can you at least give us some substance instead of taking the route last year where you essentially were vague the entire time? But we have to talk about a guy that is going to be on the floor, and we're going to see him in action on Friday. And I think it's going to be a very interesting dynamic because here is Quentin Grimes, who finally returns to practice. There's Q Dot. I've been watching his TikToks. They've been popping up on my page, and this guy really looks like he's had no care. Like his agent's handling it. He's just here for business. I like Grimes a lot, like his attitude. I like his game. But I do have a little bit of concern about what his motives will be this season. Obviously, the better he plays, the better the team plays, the more he'll get paid. But I do kind of feel that we could hit a situation later this year, especially if things don't go well, where Grimes is kind of looking out for himself. You know, and I can't blame him because he did have a good second half of the season. He wants to get a big payday. But I would hope that in the best interest of the team, he's just going to go out there, not say too much, and just put in the work every single day. Here's Quentin Grimes knocking down 3-point shots following today's shoot-around. So let's see. Has Quentin Grimes been working on the game this summer, even though he's been wherever on vacation? Jump shot looks pretty good. A little bit quicker on the release, right? I mean, I feel like last year he showed us a lot that we didn't really know he could do. Matter of fact, Dallas should have kept him. I mean, Dallas was so thin on their roster. They just never gave him the opportunity. But I think this is going to be a telltale season for what the Sixers are trying to build in the future. Their guard room. Like people always say, it's never a problem to have too much talent at one position. And people are looking how the Thunder and the Pacers and teams like that played. But again, I still think it's a different dynamic for now with Joel Embiid and Paul George on the roster. But overall, Grimes looking polished, out here trying to prove himself. And Quentin Grimes was asked about this summer and how things progressed. He says that there are no hard feelings. He's happy to be here right now, said he understands it's a business and that his teammates have welcomed him back. I'm glad that the team welcomed him back. I'm glad that he is saying the right things. That is a step in the right direction, and there shouldn't be any hard feelings. It is a business at the end of the day. The team has to do what's best for them. Grimes has to do what's best for him. I agree 100%. But what he should have been asked is, where did you think this holdout was going to go? Like, I could see if there was a light at the end of the tunnel, like, all right, I'm going to at least get a part of what I want. We're going to meet somewhere. The leverage was never there. Like, Grimes did not get anything that he wanted, and now he's back having to hope that he has a career season and doesn't get hurt or anything like that or gets benched. Nonetheless, Quentin Grimes is here. Some of these players are here. I'm excited to see them play. And I really do hope at one point this season that we get to see everybody healthy on the floor, at least for a stretch of 15 to 20 games so we can assess what this team actually is and how they can play. But as of right now, if you had to ask me the pulse with 2 weeks to go, I mean, think about how fast these 2 weeks are going to be. I am a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned, especially with the highest paid players on the team who still are not back on the floor, and we're not getting a clear timetable. So those are my thoughts. Give me yours down below. What do you think the best starting lineup combination is? Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.